Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is Jerald Dorado, and we are back with a Comicsman daily episode. And I am very fresh from just seeing the Justice League Snyder Cut, and it was amazing. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the much awaited and very well. It did not disappoint one bit, and I have lots of great things to say about it, and I would even dare to say that it is better than Endgame. Okay, so like I said, I just finished watching uh, the full Snyder Cut version of the Justice League, Dawn of Justice. I think Dawn of Justice nga ba tama eh. Zack Snyder's Justice League is what it's called here in the trailer. But of course, the a lot had been said about this movie ever since it came out. There was a lot of drama, if you remember, a few years ago when this came out, when this was in production, when there's a lot of things. Superman's mustache, the changes in the director and the creative team, the changes in the script, and the tragedy that happened to Zack Snyder and him leaving the project. Well, everything has happened to this uh to this movie, which well, a lot of bad things happened. Basically, it was plagued with um not unfavorable unfavorable events. And then what happened was when it got released, it got flacked. It was I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie, the cinema release, whatever that's called, whatever was shown in the theaters a few years ago. Yung version na yun was, I didn't think much of it, and I forgot it the moment I got home. All I could remember back then is the disappointment and thinking of what could have been. And that's exactly why this Snyder Cut was even released, because people knew the backstory of the project, and since the final release did not deliver, it was a huge disappointment to a lot of fans, both hardcore and non comic book readers. Everybody was curious, what could it have looked like if Zack Snyder had his way, and finished the project using his the original vision that he had. And now we got it. Of course, we don't know. I'm not gonna review the film. Okay, I'm not gonna review. I'm gonna talk about the film and the impact of it, or at least I think it's the long lasting impact of this film, because I think this proven, well, this uh did not just redeem the DCEU in the eyes of the fans, but this will, I think I'm predicting that this is gonna be a landmark movie where people would this would be the final, I would say, I put here a death blow to traditional cinema, specifically Hollywood cinema as we know it. From here on, I think there would be huge changes. It is a perfect storm of the pandemic and the culture shift, the woke films, and the streaming. Of course, the streaming services, the streamed movies on Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus, and whatever else. They're just taking over. And I would like to say that because traditional movies, they would always have lots of rules that or set rules that a producer would like to infuse on a film, whether they believe that film should only be a certain length. Streaming streaming movies, or what's it called, uh movies in demand, on demand on demand. I forget what it's called. Basta yung mga pinapalabas sa Netflix. Yung mga ganitong klaseng mga movies. These are I, right now, at least right now, the producers seem to be a lot more lenient with the creative decisions and the creative licenses. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking that since people are just mostly at home watching this and not in theaters, maybe they think a much longer movie would be more acceptable. I think that's a fair point, but I think there are really stories that need to be told in a specific length. And if you're gonna commit to a vision, to if you want that vision to really flesh out, then you would have to do it the way it is intended to be done. And if you're gonna interfere with the vision of the creators, the directors, the writers, then what's gonna happen is Justice League, um, Dawn of Justice 1. The Whedon cut. I don't know. Do they call it the Whedon cut? But we now know that this is. We now know that the Snyder cut is far more superior than the Whedon cut. Not even close. But of course, Zack Snyder would well, he has the luxury of hindsight right now, and the luxury of reading the reviews and finding out. He already knows what the fans hated about the first release, so he would avoid those. And I'm not sure if what is shown here in the Snyder cut, the one that's I just saw, if that would have been the movie when a few years ago when they first started. They probably adjusted the stories or the plot lines based on the reviews. I think it would be fair. So, well, to be fair with Joss Whedon, um, Zack Snyder already has a great. uh, at least he knows where not to go. Okay, he would know which direction is the bad direction, and but then again, um, I think the impact of this episode of this movie is not not just whether it will make money or creating a good film or that is critically acclaimed. I think the bigger story here is that the people, the movies will will have more have w- I think this will change movie making forever, and the things that the producers were too scared to do before, they would be braver to try it out, because I think Zack Snyder has succeeded in coming up with a successful case study. I think yun yung isang na-accomplish niya with this film. And also, well, a lot of things have happened uh, because of streaming. As you can, I don't know, there could have been uh, me personally. I only go to theaters for superhero movies, for movies that are really that I know would be pleasurable to watch visually. I would not see a drama movie. Is that what it's called? Something that's not uh, action packed. I would rather watch it at home on Netflix, or I don't know, download it. But watching superhero movies, comic book movies in particular, like Endgame and here Justice League. That's all I watched when the cinemas were still open. So it's been said that the even Hollywood films are having a hard time um, making money with most of their films. Their only cash cows are these superhero movies. If you're gonna see what's been selling to moviegoers, more a huge part of that is because of streaming, of course. And there are also lots of great action movies that you can watch on Netflix and other streaming services. But but now the mega blockbusters are now are now being released on these streaming platforms. Wonder Woman was released here, right? WandaVision, Marvel has shifted also. Uh, the they're still creating the standalone movies, but they have now taken their characters with their huge stars on streaming platforms. So and they can tell longer stories, more complicated stories with I don't know. I think it just freed up um the the creativity uh a lot more compared to traditional movies that we were used to, right? And I think it's a great thing. I'm a little I'm a little nostalgic, or I don't know if I'm gonna miss going to the movie theater, right? Are you? Are you gonna miss going to a movie theater just to watch a movie, and you can only watch it once there, 'di ba? And you would have to pay more, while at home you can watch Netflix over and over again, and you're at home. You don't have to go out. Well, it's a cultural thing. Going to the cinemas with your family, or especially when you're dating, right? That's one of the staples here in the Philippines, diba? Uh, but now you can just go home and and watch. Yeah, I think this movie is uh is a turning point. I think a lot of producers have I think for them this will be the if the, to those producers who are still on the edge, because I think most of producers in Hollywood are already convinced, but to those who are still um 50-50 over this, over going full blown and allowing more creativity in the movies and creating them, I think this will be the final nail. I think this is I think from here on we're gonna see a decline. I don't know what's Marvel gonna do. Maybe all of their releases will be online already, and we won't need to see um a Marvel movie, an MCU movie in the cinemas anymore. Or even if they're still showing it there, I maybe more people would choose not to watch it outside, and just since it's already streaming anyway. And yeah, I think that's already happened. But I think this is really the death blow for cinema as we know it right now. Um, Maybe in a couple of years, I don't know if the cinemas are still gonna open. They're saying it's gonna open. It was supposed to open. I think this month, March, but we're locked down again. And the longer you lock down the cinemas, the the more that the people get used to watching at home in these streaming services, and they would discover that it is easier and it is it is cheaper because you only pay a few hundred pesos, and you're gonna get to watch everything in the streaming service, instead of that monthly bill. It would probably cost, not even if you're a family of five, that's not even gonna be enough for you to watch everything, for everybody to watch just one movie, right? So, and also another thing that the streaming services, another positive for it, or advantage for it, for the producers, is that they get to produce uh hits without the need for superstars, right? They don't need the big names anymore, because people usually would go out for a big name, big star movie. Let's say Tom Cruise with the Mission Impossible movies. Um, Tom Cruise could make you get off your asses and go to the cinema, right? There are people that it would be more attractive. Even here in the Philippines, the local artists, the local actors, let's say people would go out for Sarah Geronimo or Katniel. But sometimes they would not go out for an indie film, even though the indie film with non with the lead not being as popular, or not even popular at all, even if the film is even better than the mainstream one. So, but then again, if you're if you're just home and it's on a streaming channel, then you can stumble upon it. And since nothing, you're not paying extra. You click to that movie, and then you're gonna be pleasantly surprised, and it will still by word of mouth. If it's really that good, then it will be great. So the need for um if the need for a superstar for the lead is diminished. 'Di ba? Mas mababawasan na 'yun kasi napatunayan na even if you can create hits without super mega stars on the show. Let's say, well, Stranger Things. Nobody knew those kids when it first came out, right? Vikings. I didn't know anyone from that movie. Um, Name any movie, any series, the K dramas. I don't know. I didn't know any one of them. But you would know them after watching. So I could Vikings. It would not have made any difference if let's say Brad Pitt was there to me right now. Maybe when I if I haven't seen it, it would uh, it would be more appealing to me. As with when I'm browsing, if I recognize the actor, then I'm more likely to click on that. But I digress. So let's go back to the Snyder Cut. I think it's an amazing movie, and I do think it is better than Endgame. I can't believe I'm saying that. There are scenes here that would rival the best scenes in Endgame, and Zack Snyder was able to uh, to showcase the fantastic lore and myth of the DC universe in this movie. He was able to do that. To do that. Well, not everything, because the DC universe is really really huge. But but he's done a lot of things in this movie that the fanboys are that they're gonna make the fanboys cream their pants. And basta, if you haven't watched it, make sure that you watch this, because this is, I don't know, it just replaced Endgame for me, the most thrilling movie. And what if I'm just gonna compare this to Endgame a little bit more. The first What makes this better than Endgame is that Endgame's first half is meh. It's not that exciting. It just went it just spiked really high towards the end, from the middle to the end. That's but It was a hell of an experience watching that. But there were times in the first acts of Endgame that are all right. I think overall, Infinity War, um, Infinity War, yeah, Infinity War was better than Endgame. The real redeeming factor of Endgame, of course, is the climax. It's just so good. Uh the Snyder Cut, the entire 4 hours, you're gonna. there's no dull uh acts in the entire movie. Of course, some scenes would be better than the others, but in terms of climax, if Endgame, I would give a 10. That climax movie, that the climax part, that's specifically, that's what I'm talking about. But and the climax part of Snyder Cut, I would rank Endgame at 10 and the Snyder Cut 9. So it's pretty close. 9 or 9.5. So if it's that close and the first half and the entire film is captivating, and Endgame has the first half, um it's you're gonna follow it the first time you watch it, but on the second time you watch it, it's you're not so interested anymore because you already know what's happening, what's gonna happen. While in the Snyder cut, you would still want to see the scenes. So it's that good. So it's 4 hours of repeatable, rewatchable content, and it's great. Maybe I have a recency bias because I literally just saw it before hitting record, but I don't think I'm gonna change my mind so much. Okay, I might change a little bit, but maybe not so much. There's I can only think of a few questionable questionable scenes within. I don't think I have five. So for a 4 hour movie and I don't even have five questionable scenes or scenes that bother me enough, that's pretty good. Okay, of course it's not gonna be a perfect movie. The CGI I think could be better, especially on Dark Side. But Stephen Wolf was greatly improved. Um, there were cringy parts in the first release that they removed here in the Snyder cut, and a lot more. Well, this is unrecognizable basically. If you're gonna compare this to the Whedon cut, this is like I don't know. There's no comparison. So you just watch if you haven't yet, and let's rewatch again. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I'm just so happy that the fans was able to convince Warner to produce this, and thank you, thank you, Zack Snyder and everybody else that's involved in creating this movie. It's amazing. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Uh, the I maybe the I think this this merging this movie with the rest of the movies in the DCEU right now, like Aquaman and Wonder Woman. I think this fits well. Yeah, this fits really well. And what else? Batman. We're gonna find out with the new Batman what they're gonna do. I'm gonna stop now before I give out spoilers. Just watch it, and I think the movie industry has has changed. It had been changing for a while now, but I think this is really a landmark that's gonna seal everything for everybody. And that's it. Powerful Comics Man podcast. I hope to one final thought. I hope to find somebody who can talk to me about, or I can talk to an ultra DC Comics DCEU geek to discuss this movie, because there are things that you can play out after watching. So hopefully I get to find someone. I have someone in mind. I hope I can get that guy on the podcast. So watch out for uh, notifications for announcements. Okay, that's it. Powerful Comics Man podcast. Follow the show, please. Bye bye.